This week's sponsor is Anchor.fm. In our experience as podcasters, Anchor is the easiest way to make a podcast. Anchor gives you everything you need in one place for free, which you can use right from your phone or computer. They have creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast so it sounds great, and they'll distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard everywhere: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and many more. If you're interested in monetizing your podcast, Anchor sets you up with sponsors with no minimum listenership. What could be easier than that? Download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. The Chains of Reason podcast, where we link the chains of reason that affects our daily lives in society and culture, including, but not limited to, sports and politics.
Welcome to the Chains of Reason podcast. I'm your host, DJ Grand, and sitting keeping the seat warm for her uncle is my daughter, Autumn Ray.
Hi.
And as always with us is Ryan Trainer.
I am the Fullmetal podcaster, Ryan Trainer.
Yes, we will be talking about Fullmetal Alchemist today. But first I want to start and talk about the Youmacon that went on in downtown Detroit and what used to be Cobo Hall. How did you guys like it?
I thought it was awesome. I go every year, so I'm a big nerd about it. But yeah, it's a lot of fun for anime fans because there's cons everywhere for like comic books and stuff like that. But it's nice to have something, since I love comic book stuff, but I'm more of an anime fan. So to have that in Detroit, because we don't really have much else, even like outside of here and stuff like that. You got to go to like California and stuff for like real big anime cons. So it's a cool thing to have, near us.
How about you, Autumn? What'd you think of it?
It was fun. I haven't gone to a Comic-Con in a couple years.
So you liked it, though?
Yeah.
Well, what confused me about it is I saw way too many non-anime. I saw Captain America, Spider-Man. That didn't make sense to me.
You got to understand, when there's conventions too, it's just nerd culture. That's basically it. Because like you'll go to Motor City and see a bunch of anime people too, and that's obviously more for Marvel, DC, and stuff like that.
Well, I don't know. I'm totally ignorant on this. The Motor City one, does that include? Is it an umbrella that includes anime, or is it just Marvel comics and DC or what have you?
I mean, the Motor City one's more just like more pop culture stuff. So they have movies and it's like Star Trek and Star Wars.
But I would still consider this pop culture. Wouldn't anime fall under that umbrella?
Yeah, that's why you got to just like. When you see the cosplayers, there's just going to be everybody like Deadpool and, just even people making up stuff that's not even a thing. You're like, that's not even from anything. So.
Honestly, I wouldn't even know if they did make it up when I was there on Saturday because there were some I had no clue what character they were.
Yeah,
but
I know it's hard to. It's sad I know a lot of them, but there are some you're like, who are you? And it's actually one of the people that does a podcast at Podcast Detroit. They do a cosplay one. And I met up with them there because that's what their podcast is all about, is just cosplaying and people doing that. So they're way more involved with it. So I like talking to them because I like to see it, but I don't really participate in it. So it's nice kind of just having somebody know all that stuff, a little bit more.
I saw some really good costumes, and I also saw some really bad ones, too.
It's definitely one or the other.
Yes. It was just a lot of merchandise to buy, and what I liked the best about it, honestly, was there was some really fine artists there. I mean, some truly good artwork.
Yeah. Oh yeah, exactly. And I think I was telling you off mic too, like the artist alleys. From me going as much as I've been, you see a lot of the same stuff, and it's so easy to buy things nowadays to get like a certain figure, or like a shirt or something like that. Like they sometimes charge a little bit more at like vendor places like that too. So. And, when you see like the original artwork from just these people that, travel around the United States to all these different cons, it's cool to get like unique ideas and like stuff that you can't really just like buy off a shelf and stuff. So
how do they get around the copyright laws?
I think it's just original artwork. I mean, it's
But you're taking characters that are, well, I would assume are copyrighted, wouldn't that?
yeah.
Could you run into trouble with that?
I don't think so. As long as it's, I don't know. I mean, I don't know how that works, but I don't see it being a problem because they would all be caught right
Well, look,
there.
I don't think it's a problem. I'm
Yeah.
just saying that I would thought of that while I was looking at them all. I'm like, how do they get away with this?
Yeah, I never thought of it like that.
How about you, Autumn? What did you like best about it?
I don't know. I liked seeing all the costumes and me and my friend just trying to guess them all and not being able to.
Everyone always asking for pictures.
Yeah, that's the point of the cosplay too. Is like, when people do a good job, they want to, snap a photo of like the person, or just like, hey, I'm with, Ed from Fullmetal and like stuff like that. And
She dressed up
you
as Ed,
cosplay
yeah.
too, yeah. So I was gonna say you were a part of it.
Well, anytime another ad would always come up, hi, I'm Ed. Hi,
Yeah.
Ed. So
Yeah, and like it's so funny when they
a brotherhood.
yeah, and they call each other by like it's when you don't know the other person, but like they want to. I always see it, and I've done it too. You'll address them by their character name.
Sure.
And people get like either they know what you're saying or they like super into it and stuff like that.
Well, overall, even though I was in a lot of pain from walking around so much, I did enjoy it. It was a good experience.
Did you guys check out the game room? Did you see that? Or...
Why didn't you tell me there was a game?
Yeah.
See, no one told me this stuff. I would
guess-
have went to that.
Well, if I would have been there with you, I would have gave you the grand tour. So, but there is a really cool thing, and I guess for next year, because it's a lot, again for standing and stuff. There's a lot more standing there too. But they have it's like towards the left of the Kobo. There's a giant video game room because they have video game tournaments for a lot of like the fighting games and stuff like that, and they actually have like big money tournament bets there too that go on through the whole weekend for certain games. But what's cool is not only do they have like the tournament where you're seeing these whatever games that are popular at the moment, they have like lines of arcades, just like a regular arcade like place you'd go to. They're all free, and they're like just stuff you could never see anywhere really, like just just classic games that you might have been playing on like like on your console and stuff like that. And it's
Like Donkey Kong.
yeah, but like just like arcade games that you just
That was an arcade game in my day.
oh okay, all right. I was thinking of Donkey Kong Country, so I was like, I don't know if that's one, but it's just cool because again they're all free, and you can like they have like DDR and like all these like really obscure Japanese games that are only like overseas or in very different parts of the United States, I would say. So I have a lot of fun there, and that's like it's 24 hours too, so you can literally be there all day, and it's crazy how many people do that.
It's like a comic Las Vegas.
Yeah, but it gives you something to do. Like you said, you can only go through the dealer's room so many times, and
Yeah.
once you see 20 Edwards or like All Mights or something, after like if you're there for 3 days,
I guess next year I'll have to check them more out because
Yeah.
I really didn't know. Had I known, we would have went to more as much as I could have until
again,
I passed out.
get your ticket beforehand is always a good idea.
Thanks.
Yeah, no, it's I'm glad you guys went. When you called about that, I was really glad, because you never been to it, right? This is your first year
Not for this one, no.
for this one. Okay, yeah, like it's a huge convention. It's really cool. So.
Oh, that line went forever waiting to
Yeah.
get a ticket.
Yeah,
we were about halfway into it, and it just kept going way beyond us.
Yeah, it's because Kobo's so big, and it'll be like from one end to another, just people waiting and stuff. So I've been through that. Sorry.
It's what you have to do. You have to pay to get in, so
Yeah.
it's how they make their money.
For sure.
So the main part about this episode is going to be about Fullmetal Alchemist, and since this what I guess is it anime? I guess it's been over for like 10 years now, so I guess there's no need to say any spoiler alerts, correct?
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely say that because this has been. There's 2 versions of it as well, and yes, if you haven't seen this, that's on you. So, and again, even if you do get spoiled by it, it's I still think it's worth watching.
Oh, it's
so.
absolutely worth watching,
Yeah.
and I'm glad you guys introduced me to it. But we're going to be talking specifically about the Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood one.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
again, I think the better one too. So
Well, good. So I guess I have my first round of questions for you two. What is your appeal for Fullmetal Alchemist? What do you like it so much, Autumn?
I like the plot and the characters, I guess.
What about them?
I don't know. I don't know. There's not really another military one and that I've watched, I guess.
Okay. How about you, Ryan?
Yeah, I would say the same thing. It's such a unique idea where it blends the whole science and, religion and a lot of other stuff. It gets almost talks about, as you go through the series, so many different topics, and the characters are really cool as well. And it's, as you get further into the show too, like this is a very rare anime too, where I almost like every single character in this on the good and the bad side, and they just do a good job at like writing their characters. And it's weird because throughout the story as well, a lot of these like evil bad guys are mixed in to the story and like helping out the good guys in a lot of ways too.
Sometimes.
Like they get in some pretty cool like scenarios and stuff like that. And going from the old series, which didn't really have like a proper ending, and it kind of got really weird and messed up, and you just after you would see Brotherhood and see how it was supposed to end, you were just happy to get refreshed that like this is what I was missing. And they left out so many of these cool characters and this actual ending that made sense. And you had more like of a satisfying ending and just complete story too. So
Well, the appeal for me was the reason you told me to watch it was there was some philosophy in there.
a lot, yeah.
Yeah, and it really was appealing to me that they actually took time to. I don't know if they always were consciously aware of the philosophy they were put in there. Like Nietzsche, he was in there, especially with the Kimberly character. He was like the will to power.
Yeah.
And that is Nietzsche. I mean, that is his philosophy. So I don't know if they did it on purpose. See, most people mispronounce Nietzsche's name. They call it Nietzsche.
Nietzsche, yeah, I've done that many times.
Kimberly. To me, I was like, wow. Is that what they're
yeah.
doing here? Kimberly Nietzsche? But because the proper name is Nietzsche. I know that because my professor made fun of people in my class who say it the wrong way. So
That's like an entrance thing, like just say this name and I'll see where you're going to start in this class.
yeah, basically. Yeah. But yeah, it appealed to me. And more than just that, there was more than just one philosophy to it. And hopefully we'll talk about more of them as we go along. My next question is, who's your favorite character?
Greed.
And why?
The second Greed, not the first Greed.
Yeah.
And why?
I don't know. He's just funny.
Because he had Robin's voice. Wasn't it Robin? The same voice actor as Robin?
Jason Todd.
Well, that's Robin.
Arkham Knight. Yeah.
There's a lot of rabbits.
Robin's still Robin. It's okay. Well, is there anything else?
I guess it was just more how funny he was.
Okay, Ryan.
That's weird, Adam, because we're kind of hitting the same points too. Because I was going to say Greed too, and the second version as well. Because when when he's in the body of
Ling.
Ling, and I like Ling's whole party, like Ling, Lanfan, and her dad and stuff. Yeah, the grandfather, and like the little Mao. What's the
panda?
Yeah, the panda and the.
But wasn't
little
it with the little girl?
Yeah, they were from
Al's girlfriend, basically.
Yeah. They were from like the same, part of the country.
Xing, wasn't it? Xing.
Yeah, the Xing, country and stuff. I liked when they were like, two split personalities and him like kind of overcoming it and like, well, he gets lost in it at first too, like Greed wins and has this new body and power when he, basically loses in the beginning. And it's just like a cool, dynamic. And, I like Greed as a character because he's, it's like he's really bad, but he's just so confused more or less. And as you go through the story and stuff, and he's actually more of a good guy, if anything. So,
well, he was running from a mistaken flaw. The flaw was being that he thought he wanted to take over the world, but that's not what he really wanted.
Yeah.
So that's what he was operating from, and maybe Ling being inside him helped him to realize that.
Yeah, and that's like always saw that where it's like when he pushed him down, and you would just see that like inner monologue of like Ling kind of just like stuck in this spot, and like the Greed face and all that animation was always cool.
He was always in the meditation pose too.
Yeah, exactly. It was just really cool, and it's like Ed and Al are really great characters, but with any show like this, I always kind of take the main characters, and because they're they're such great characters too. I try to like put them off to the side because I like them a lot as well. So
I guess I belong off to the side because my favorite characters were Ed, Al, and also Winry. I think the three of them were really the perfect dynamic.
For sure, yeah. No, they're really good, and that's like the whole like anchor point of the show too. Them trying to get their bodies back, and then Winry, who's just this like kind of rock for them, and they're like trying to get back to her
she's the
too.
Ultimate feminist. She can do what she wants. She has her own mind, and she does not necessarily have to be told what to do. I mean, that's how any woman should be in my book.
And without her, they wouldn't have Ed wouldn't have his full metal and stuff like that. So
yeah, at least the repairs for it. Yeah. She made him for him too. That's correct.
Yeah, so, and she's like, there's other people that can make that kind of stuff, the auto mail, but she was
as
like,
we found out in Rush Valley.
Yeah,
which I love that name.
Yeah, that's yeah. But it's like obviously she's like the best like mechanic. You know
absolutely,
what I mean? So
absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, what's your favorite alchemical power?
That's a tough one. Probably Roy's flames.
Okay. Why?
They're cool.
How about you, Ryan?
Yeah, that's a tough one. I like the show too in the sense of like alchemy is so cool where you have Ed who, he can make anything as well. It's like he makes all these weapons and stuff like that, which is really cool. But then when you get to like, Roy Mustang and Armstrong, it's just like cool. They have these unique set of skills and stuff like that, like the flame, and I guess Armstrong's like making rocks or spears or something like that.
I thought Armstrong was Iron Fist. Wasn't he the strength one?
Yeah.
Am I mistaken?
Like he would like punch
he'd
bullets
punch
and
it
stuff.
and they turn into like spears.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yes, you're correct. Okay.
So I think I would have to. I really like the and he was a new character that they just made for the pilot episode. The first guy in the very first episode. I forgot his name because he dies in that episode. But
the freezing dude.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because he's like he just goes rogue and he uses like he can just control like liquid and like he can make it like evaporate or freeze.
I think it's Isaac the Freezer or something.
Yeah, something like that. His is really cool.
Yeah, Major Isaac McDougall, the freezing alchemist. Yes, that's him. Yes. For me, I agree with you, Autumn. It's Mustang. What I like about him is just the pinpoint.
Yeah,
Boom.
yeah.
You can set it aside and burn someone down. And you can take someone out.
I definitely have a pair of those gloves around here somewhere. So I've had those.
Autumn had one too.
Yeah.
She was fully dressed for the anime.
And that's like another thing about Roy that's really cool is there's so much attention to detail to this show that's pretty cool where with anime you can leave everything up to just whatever, like they can do these things no matter what, but it's I think when they first see Scar and it's like he has his partner Hawkeye and it's like it starts to rain and he goes to like fight Scar and she's like, you idiot, like, and it's like you don't even think of it because they make this cool like showdown where it's like Scar's gonna go after him and he's like, I'm gonna because he's a awesome character too. And then she's just like, no, like your stuff won't work because of the rain. And it's like, they didn't have to do that for like an anime. You know what I mean? It's just cool that they put those little things in to make the story just that more believable and stuff.
That's another character of Mustang. You're so stubborn that you don't understand it's not going to work.
And this might be jumping ahead, but in kind of retrospect, after you see the show, when they get to the end and like, all the craziness happens with the, the flask and stuff like that. And, what happens to Roy and she becomes, Hawkeye becomes like his eyes. It's like kind of crazy how they like set that up from like the very beginning because you could never think any of that stuff was going to happen. But
if they did that with conscious intent, then that's good writing.
Yeah, you're right. Like that could have just been a cool name, but it just seems like they had to have known that.
Well, Autumn brought up when we were talking about it that she was called Hawkeye because she was a good shot.
Yeah, exactly. That's her skill.
So, or maybe it's the double entendre and it worked. I mean, but let's give them credit. Let's say that they probably did do it with conscious intent. At least I hope they did.
Well, and at the end, if you are the best, marksman, it's like then you're basically gun now as a person that can shoot massive amount of fire out of their hands. That's
true.
probably better than a pistol.
She was at that one scene telling him.
Yeah, and it's like that's
sounds like a submarine commander.
Yeah, it was so cool too. Like I'm like I don't even know what they're saying, but it made sense.
Yeah, it did. It was good. Which homunculi should be feared the most? And we needed to find that word because that's the word. The way they do it in the series is not the way I was taught that word means. So, Autumn, what is a homunculi? Let us know.
Okay, we looked it up, and it was like the English, I guess, version is like a small human, and then the Japanese version is like an immortal or something.
It's a small, perfect-sized human.
Yeah.
Nothing's out of proportion. But the Japanese version is
like immortal or something.
Yes. And I never knew the Japanese version.
Yeah.
So now that we know what it means, which one should be feared the most?
Okay, the one I don't like, the one I fear the most was Pride, because I don't like creepy children. But it would probably be Pride or Bradley.
What, Wrath then?
Yeah, Wrath.
Okay, why not? Why Wrath? Because
he's super fast.
It was a tough
he
one.
took out a
that
tank
one episode.
And stuff.
Jeez, when I saw that, I was like, "Oh my god!" Like, because he's strong, but then when he just takes on like the entire renegade army, it's just like.
And he split that one shell in half in midair.
Yeah.
I mean, that
doesn't even
pretty
make
quick.
sense. Yeah.
No, it didn't make sense at all.
And
why wouldn't it have exploded then? It would have detonated when it cut it in half.
But it's just cool because you see them. Out of all the homunculi you've seen, they've all had these crazy powers, from Envy becoming this giant Godzilla to Lust with her claws, and Gluttony with his weird time portal mouth thing, and it's Pride too. All these people, they're just monsters, and he's as normal as can be, but just with these crazy martial arts skills he can take on actual armies by himself.
So which one do you think should be feared the most?
I was gonna say Wrath. I don't know. It's a tough one because I think and he doesn't last as long as the most. I think he's the first one to go. Actually, technically, no, it wasn't him. But I think Gluttony.
Was the first one that went?
Yeah.
Lust was yeah.
But Gluttony, I think because I don't think he used his power right. But if you kind of twist that story, I mean, if you go into his portal thing, it's just you're gone forever. They figure it out, obviously, but it's pretty crazy to think about his power. And I think if he wasn't so dumb, because that's kind of his flaw is he's just so simple, he would be, I think if they used his power differently, it'd be pretty scary.
Well, talk about good writing. Gluttony ends up being eaten.
Yep.
By Pride.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
That's good writing.
Yeah,
so
very
They
true.
hit that one. They hit a home run on that one in my book.
Yeah.
I agree with Autumn. I think Pride is the scariest. Hiding in the shadows and his ability could kill anybody at any time he wanted, as long as there were shadows. That's pretty scary. I mean.
Yeah. Pride is definitely one, and he was Pride and Wrath. It's interesting that they were almost paired up, because it's Wrath see all the stuff that was happening through the government side and all that, while Pride was in the shadows, kind of helping with father and stuff like that. So it's there's a bad mix.
This is one of my questions, but I'm just thinking of this now. Why do you think the 7 deadly sins had to separate from the father? I mean, why was that necessary? I know he thought it would make him a better being, but I think that's a mistake.
Yeah, it made him even worse.
Yes, it did.
Didn't even stop him from being. He just had more people to do his bidding.
He could always find another one. He always make another one.
Yeah.
It seems that's what he was doing.
And that's greed never followed him. He totally went rogue. Right from the start.
Well, as far as character goes, I liked Greed for that. He at least had his own individual thinking. He wasn't a blind, obedient character.
Yeah.
I guess the next one is, since Al doesn't have a body, is he truly human? If so, what makes him human?
He is human, and his mind, I guess.
His mind?
Yeah.
How about you, Ryan? What do you
Well,
think?
it's his soul. He still has his soul. So it's still him. It's just inside a tin can.
So a disembodied soul is still human?
In that world, yes.
In that world.
Because there was they didn't know it at the start, but he was going to find a way to bring his brother back.
Well, this taps into one of the other philosophical notions in the story, is the sense of identity.
Yeah.
Because even who was it, 66?
Barry.
Barry, the chopper.
Oh,
He
yeah.
kind of screws with Al's mind, getting to think, is he really real? Did your brother put those memories into you? I mean, that is a philosophical dilemma.
That
That's
is a
kind of a
big-
Matrix thing.
Yeah, that's a big. You're like, oh yeah, I didn't even think of that.
But the truth is, he is human, but what makes him human is that he still had choices, morality.
Yeah.
And as long as he can make choices, and you use both your soul and your mind, because they're kind of the same thing. A soul is another way for saying your mind, because they both come
Yeah.
from the same place.
He's got to use what they always talked about, in the
Yes.
show.
So it's what makes him human is the fact that he was a moral agent, and he would refuse to kill someone or hurt someone at the end. That's a morality.
Yeah.
And that's what made him human. So yes, he definitely was still human, at least according to me. Was Ed wrong to deny Van Hohenheim?
Von Hohenheim.
Von Hohenheim.
Totally got it wrong.
You're close,
His chance to make up for being a bad father?
I think that was more so just Ed being stubborn and hurt that he left, but then at the end he calls him a rotten father, but he does acknowledge him being the father.
Even a
Yeah.
rotten father is still a father. And even doesn't he say that?
Yeah, he
later?
does say that.
He did call me father.
Yeah,
What do you
exactly.
think, Ryan?
Yeah, Hohenheim's a weird. That's a weird part of the story and stuff when you figure out his past and what he went through and all that. But he still did love his family. He just understood, what his purpose to stop, father and stuff. That was just and like going around and like spreading the souls of the people and stuff into the earth and
As a defense.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So
So
I
he
think he was
looking
seeing
out.
the bigger picture of it
Yeah.
and just, didn't like that he had to do those things. But yeah, it's like in the end, he obviously sacrificed himself for his kids. So.
I think that was the human part of him. That was
Yeah.
what made him moral, was because he was making those choices to do that.
And, he was tricked, to be stuck in this whole thing the
Yes,
whole
he
time.
was.
So,
To answer Autumn, I think Ed was showing that he was human and showing his morality by saying, "No, I'm not going to let you hurt." Because didn't Al and Ed come to agreement that they weren't going to use a philosopher's stone, which is a live human? A live human is used to make a philosopher's stone.
yeah, many lives are, that's how you make a philosopher's stone with like multiple people's lives.
So they sort of had a pact not to use one, and which means not take a life. And so that at least in my point of view, that's what Ed was trying to do. Stop. He didn't want to sacrifice anyone, even his so-called bad father. And that was Ed displaying his morality.
Yeah, and that's the thing. If you remember when Alphonse fights Kimberly, he has the Philosopher's Stone, and it's like technically he could use it for his. And he talks to him about this. He's like, "Why don't you just use the stone right now to get your body back?" And that's even during that intense fight where he's fighting these two crazy, Pride and Kimberly, and it's like he has this, this power in his hand. He still doesn't use it for the thing they've been fighting for this whole time.
And that is probably a lot of moral dilemmas. The hardest thing to do usually is the right thing.
Yep.
And that was a good example of it. It would have been easy for him to just use the
was
stone.
given it, yeah.
Exactly. But he did the right thing, the hard thing, and he stuck to his principles. What I talk about on this podcast all the time, and he ended up doing the right thing.
Yeah.
And he stayed a hero, at least in my book. Even though there are many aspects detailed in Fullmetal Alchemist, examples military war, science, alchemy, what to you is the most significant?
I have no idea. I don't know. Probably just like the corrupt military and stuff.
And how that worked against the society?
Yeah.
Sure. I took the military as the government because it was like a state.
Yeah.
The military was the government, and when the government's corrupt, the people are in trouble. So I agree. You're not wrong in that at all, Autumn.
And they were using like the government or the military and this and the in Fullmetal Alchemist used alchemy, like they were holding the power of alchemy, which anybody can technically use and do, but they were the ones you can get certified through. You can become, state license and all this and have all these benefits, but you have to obviously become a dog of the military to get, which is what Ed and Al do to get like more information and stuff like that, even though
Access to
Yeah.
greater.
but they never they never fell into obeying it like Mustang did, and a lot of the other guys that that was like their life and stuff like that. So
See, to me, this is another part of the philosophical aspect, because a government has a monopoly on force. And they used it because they said, we are going to be the ones to be the alchemists. We are going to be the ones with the power.
Yeah.
And we're going to harness that. But there's, at least in America, there's something called the Second Amendment, which means you can defend yourself, and you should be able to. If you're an alchemist, you shouldn't have to go to the state to get better. You should be able to do it on your own.
Yeah. And that's like another thing when they were, when they go through their like training with their their master and stuff like that, and she sends them to that island, and I don't think they're not allowed to use alchemy on there, and it's them realizing that it's like coming from the earth, be a part of the earth. It's like, it's kind of understanding there's more to it than just leaning on such a power all the time, because they're like, yeah, you can use it for everything, but that's not the point of understanding.
Isn't that what the teacher made them learn when she dropped them off on the island for the 30 days?
Yeah, exactly. And that's like what they, because they're like contemplating what alchemy is. And I think that's like, instead of thinking of it as this like thing, it's more of like life, and like that's
the ebb and flow. Absolutely.
And that's like, the people that went to the military were doing it because it was like it was like a thing they could just, take and stuff like that. Like, if I join the military, I'm going to get this alchemy power. And it's like, nah, it's already there. It's kind of like the Force almost,
Yes, yes, I agree. I totally agree.
Yeah.
What was the saddest part of the Fullmetal Alchemist, the entire story, for you?
Well, I didn't like when Greed died, but the saddest part probably was when Hohenheim went back to the grave. That was sad.
How about you, Ryan?
Yeah, that's pretty sad. I don't know if it's like sad. Well, I mean, this is just a given, but when they go through the whole Tucker thing, that's like the worst. That's probably
Nina,
like
the dog and the girl.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, that's like an anime thing of like one of the saddest things in anime in general.
It was. It was so sad.
And they'd bring that up so early. Like, that's like one of the second like arcs almost, and it's just like,
well, it's kind of multi-layered sad. Just the fact that her father turned her into a dog, and then turned the dog into her, into one chimera. That right there is sad. And then it dies afterwards. That it's like a multi-layered sadness.
Yeah. It's like he's doing it, and this goes with like the military thing, because the only reason why he did that is to get his state license back,
or to keep it.
Yeah, keep it. Yeah, and it's like, that's what that meant to you, like.
But that's where here we go again. That's a pragmatist. There are no principles there. The end justifies the means. That is pure pragmatism right there. Another philosophy in this. It was
exactly.
Philosophy is all over this story. So on the other side of that coin, what's your favorite part of the Fullmetal Alchemist?
I don't know. I liked a lot of it. I think when it starts getting really good for me is probably when Ling's introduced. That's when it starts getting like funny.
Because that's the greed thing again, right? Yes.
And that's like when the story really got different too from like the previous show too. Like, it's actually funny from like the old show to this one, like the first, I don't know, like 12, 15 episodes are almost like exactly the same. They go through like the church thing. They do it's like identical. And then when they both go their own ways is like, we had this one for a long time where it just got more into like the war. They had this like whole thing about the war that was going on and stuff like that. And that like never happens in this. And that's like, Ling's show, like he wasn't in that first one too, which is, such a shame, because you're like, you miss out on all these great characters like Armstrong's sister and that whole thing.
Olivier wasn't in the first one?
Nope, even all the Deadly Sins were different.
She was a harsh feminist.
Yeah, because even Wrath wasn't in it. He wasn't.
He was Pride.
Yeah, that was it.
Celine was in it, but he wasn't Pride.
And Wrath was that other guy who had like Ed's arm and leg.
Yeah, I never liked that.
Yeah, he was just a dumb character. So yeah, it's a lot different.
Well, since you brought up the part of the religion, I really liked that part because it showed that behind the scenes, religion can be totally flawed. That people can fall easily for religion, and Ed and Al come and break that down and kind of save them from religion. I mean, I like that part. That was, and even though it was one of the very second or third episode, that really was compelling to me. And my favorite part though,
what was your favorite
the
part?
ending.
That's what I was gonna say. Like it's so great when he sees his arm come back, and then he knows like Al's dead basically.
Well, not just that. When he's on the roof fixing that, he's complaining that Winry is making him do all these chores, and he does the alchemy thing. Oh, worth a shot.
Yeah.
That, and then of course seeing the picture at the end where he has the kids with
Winry.
Oh,
the end credits make me like cry almost. It's like so sad. Like you see everybody moving on. Like Roy Mustang grows a weird Hitler mustache for some reason, and I was like, what? I thought we were past that. But in like scars with his people, and you see like Ed has a family and stuff. That's in, and Al's with for some reason the little Chinese girl grows like 7 feet tall in some span of time.
You knew they were gonna hook up. As soon as he said, "I'm going back to Jing," I knew. Oh, he's going there he's not going there for alchemy. He's going for her.
I just think it's funny that she was like this abnormal anime pipsqueak, and then like in this, who knows what time goes by in it, but then she's like normal size. It's like, well, that happened.
I also like the brother aspect of it because he was the older brother, but small. It would get mad every single time someone would call him a pipsqueak. And the Full Metal thing, I always thought it still makes sense.
Yeah,
you would think you've seen Al that he is Full Metal. Yeah, that he'd be the alchemist,
and they always do. They're always like, "So you're Full Metal Alchemist," and he's like, "Nah, that's him."
And Ed would always get so pissed at that. I mean, that's the brother aspect.
Yeah, I thought that was cool, and like Brotherhood as well. Like again, comparing. I know I've said this too much, but like comparing the older one to the new one, they always said that Al was the better martial artist, and like he's more level-headed, I guess, but it's like he never learned alchemy like the hand clap in the original one.
Mm-mm.
So it's like when they showed that in the real story that he does learn it by seeing the truth, it's like he's just the best, because he's just everything all in one then.
The best minus the body, but okay.
Yeah, but again, that kind of goes besides some of the stuff that happens to him, but it's like, he doesn't have to worry about eating and stuff like that, and sleeping.
He also, I think that could be annoying too.
He brings that up when he's just like
yearning for the apple pie.
Yeah, he has the whole journal about stuff he needs to eat when he gets his body back. So,
I've been trying to hone on this in Autumn's homeschooling that there's no such thing as too long of a good story and no such thing as too short of a bad one. And I don't think this one was long enough. I really think this thing could have went on and on. Really,
I just think it was perfect. Almost like
I'm not saying it was bad. I'm saying a good story. You want it to go on.
True.
You want it to keep going. Every really good story. To me, that's how you can. That is the hallmark of a good story. You wanted it to continue. You love the characters so much, you love the story so much. You want it to go on.
Yeah.
That is a good story. A bad story is I'm done with this. It's before you're done before you even get through halfway through it. That's no such thing as too short of a bad story.
Okay, I see.
Do you get my point?
Yeah. Well, I would recommend then checking out the older one, like, because you can find where it starts. I'm sure Autumn can figure it out for you too, and just kind of see where they took it one place. Because there are some cool stuff to it, but it's just weird.
It's different.
Yeah,
it's weird. And
well, doing my show prep, they were kind of lashing at the first one. Now, I'm going to tell them a second outsider point of view. I don't know. But they were kind of lashing at it online, saying that it wasn't as good as Brotherhood. And Brotherhood.
It's not, I mean.
And their biggest complaint was that it didn't follow along the manga the Brotherhood does.
But it was at the point when the manga was like not even finished, so they couldn't.
And that's exactly what they were saying. That was their justification for it.
And that happens a lot with anime. When anime gets sent out and like there's maybe 3 or 4 books and it gets like popular,
they want to cash in on it, so
they
got to make it right away.
That happens all the time, and it's not as bad as it once was, but it used to be a big problem. Sometimes they would just stop the show, and you'd be like, nothing ended, So at least they try,
No, I'm not saying I didn't mean that the ending was bad. I'm not saying it shouldn't have ended there. You're right. It was a complete story, but to me, it was such a good story that I wanted it to go on.
Yeah, I know, but
everything has an
end.
Yes. All right. The last question is, what was Fullmetal Alchemist ultimately about? I mean, I gave examples earlier. It could be military. I mean, it could be religion,
race,
could be
yeah.
philosophy, it could be your race relations.
A lot of race
What
stuff,
was it
yeah.
ultimately about to you, Autumn?
Brotherhood, like the brothers getting their bodies back. I don't know.
Sticking it through with the bros.
Okay, Ryan.
I
can't
think
deny
it's. I think it's just what Al finds out. Edward finds out in the end, and he confronts truth, and he's just like, There's more to like can't say it word for word how he says it, but you don't need all these things. You just need like your friends and the people you surround your life with to have a complete life and not be held down by all these just things that you think are power and might be controlling you. Then it's probably controlling you more than you think you're controlling it. So
you guys are both tapping into what I think it is all about. I think it's about family.
yeah,
I think that is the ultimate, because there's so
Exactly.
many different families, from the Hughes family, the Rockabells, right?
Yeah.
Then there's of course there's Ed and also Hawkeye and Gunman. They were in the same family. From when I looked up online, the old man was related to Hawkeye.
I didn't know that.
Wait, which old guy?
The one who becomes a Fuhrer at the end.
Wait, Roy?
No.
No,
Yeah.
no.
I'm like, they're
Roy,
not.
Roy
Yeah.
does not become the Fuhrer at the end. I have it here somewhere. Right there. There it is. He
Oh,
is related
yeah,
to
I know,
Hawkeye,
yeah.
and they're this is one family.
All right, yeah, I forgot his name. That's, but yeah. I mean, I didn't realize that.
So they got the Tucker family, they got the Curtis family.
Oh,
Yeah.
This was all about family to me. It was
Yeah.
the family dynamic was the center and the driving force of the entire story.
No, you're right. There's a lot of family values throughout the whole thing. I mean, even the bad guy is named Father, and he has a
Yes.
family. So
Yes.
it's like,
And in a way, Greed tapped into it by saying that ultimately he wanted friends.
Yeah.
Friends can be considered family.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, so I really think the family dynamic was tied into this in so many levels. And to me, I think that's what it was ultimately about.
no, for sure. That's a good point.
Okay, here's a little test for you guys. Can you name all of the estate alchemists? Now, you don't have to say their names, but at least what all the estate alchemists were. Like, for example, I'll give one away that Ed was the Full Metal.
Yeah.
Roy was the flame alchemist.
Yeah, Armstrong was I forgot his title.
Strong arm.
Strong
alt.
arm,
Yes.
yeah. And then
Strong arm. You think
there's,
that makes sense there? They
yeah.
kinda flipped it around.
I have a funny T-shirt I'll show you after this, but it's Gold's Gym.
Yeah.
Have you seen that? It's just him doing that, and it just has it says glitter and sparkle or something like that. It's funny.
Since this is a kind of a offshoot, but since the same voice actor that does Armstrong does All Might.
Oh yeah.
I kept thinking he's going to say, hey, you're safe
Yeah.
because I am here.
It's pretty much. I mean, kind of very similar.
Oh, very similar. I so many times watched it. I heard All Might so many times.
Yeah.
Any more? You guys know any more?
Shao Tucker was sewing life alchemist, I think.
That's right.
Oh,
Very
that was
good.
good. There's that Iron something. The guy with the mustache.
Iron Blood.
Yeah, Iron Blood. Okay.
Alchemist. Brigadier General Bossk Grand.
Ooh, the Crimson alchemist.
Yeah,
Kimberly.
Kimberly. Yeah.
Kimberly, yes. Okay, we're almost. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. One you guys said in the first. You mentioned him. You said you liked him.
Ooh, Wrath.
No,
yeah, he's
Wrath
not.
isn't.
Yeah,
oh, you know
exactly.
what Wrath is, isn't he?
I don't think he's a state alchemist.
No, he's
yeah,
not a
he's
state
the Fuhrer.
alchemist, yeah.
So he's past that.
The freezing alchemist.
Oh yeah. Well, Autumn knew
Isaac
the name.
McDougal.
Isaac. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
What was Marco? I don't remember his title.
The guy that made the Philosopher's Stone.
Yeah.
Yeah. I forgot. Yeah, the titles are the ones I get mixed
Where
up.
the Philosopher's Stone held in?
Life.
No, the philosopher
jar?
held life. But what was it? The little stone held. Well, I guess it wasn't totally
Like
that
a
because one was
jar?
it was more of the crystal alchemist. the
Oh,
little
crystal. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, I see.
And there's I think one more that you haven't gotten, and I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name right. Major
Hughes.
Gilio Comanche.
No idea.
Hughes.
Hughes isn't an estate
Yeah, he's not.
alchemist.
Yeah,
alchemist.
he doesn't know alchemy.
There's only one you guys haven't gotten.
Yeah.
No
I
idea.
know. I don't know.
No
Who do,
idea.
They
who do
call
we
him the
miss?
Silver Alchemist.
Who
It
is he
sounds
like?
familiar.
Oh yeah, that's
Wait.
the guy. That's like the first one Scar kills. Or like you see him
okay,
fight.
yeah.
So I did stump you guys.
Yeah,
All right.
no, yeah. There's a lot of characters in the show.
there
There's
truly is.
so many.
There truly is. I didn't really think you guys would get all of them. I was going to try and get you to say name them and then name the alchemist
Yeah.
too, but I won't be that much of a jerk to you guys.
What's your guys' favorite opening?
The first one.
The first one? Yeah, that's a good one.
The-
What do you mean by opening? The
Like-
song?
yeah.
songs.
But I
He
have
never watched them.
I have a I wanted to bring this up in the My Hero one, but it's anime openings are very important, and they're these things that show they like foreshadow a lot, and it's
Yeah.
really cool
Okay,
to.
so you're not talking about the song now. You're talking about
I mean, the songs in it.
actual,
Yeah, but the
visuals.
animation.
actual
and
animation.
stuff.
Okay.
The songs
See,
are sweet.
what turns me off about it and why I didn't want to watch it is it was in Japanese. I couldn't understand it.
You're not
I
supposed to
wanna-
understand it.
Yes, you are. You're supposed to understand
You
everything.
can read it, you know.
No, the one is in an R dubbing. It was dubbed in Japanese. It didn't give me the.
That's weird.
It was weird. Everything else was dubbed in English.
Well, just YouTube it. You can find it.
Well, I just would tell all. I'm just fast forward. I don't want to listen to this
Yeah.
because it was in Japanese.
In the last opening, it showed like it was doing it, and it showed all 5 of the, what did they call them? Like the chess pieces, like. What are
Oh,
they
the
called?
5 pieces, the sacrifices that
Yeah.
you needed
They
to.
showed
Sure.
all of them, and you didn't even know Roy was one of them, and it showed Roy.
Yeah.
And, and when you
That's a
go back
little
and watch
clue,
it,
like
you
you
were like,
said, yeah.
oh.
It's all they're all, like a good anime will do this, and like My Hero does it a lot. A lot of animes do it, but they always do foreshadow. So it's like whenever you get over like an arc and stuff, and then you watch the opening again, you'll be like, and people break it down online too, and it's crazy how much they'll just be like, this is there because of this, and you're like, oh yeah, like that is that thing and that thing. Like they show so much, and they're always like a minute and a half, so they're not long. So it's crazy how they can do that, and it's just literally storytelling in like 1 minute.
See, that's another thing since you brought it up that impresses me about the whole anime thing. It's the story arc. I had to go to school to learn about story arcs. This was never told to me. There's no way I would have known that
It's
growing
different
up.
type, you know. so.
But the story arc in both My Hero and Fullmetal, it's important, and there are so many different arcs and. But then again, all I had was Bugs Bunny. But still,
Yeah, those story arcs are a little different.
yes, they are.
And you know, these are by the same studio.
Really?
Yeah, Studio Bones
Yeah,
does.
Bones, that's
Yeah.
right. That's correct. Yeah. Since we brought that up, I was thinking that maybe I found, at least, I don't know, this is pure hypothesis on me, but the reason why anime is so popular in America, it's because of the vacuum that the liberals have created by banning things like Bugs Bunny. And that's just an example because now you can't even watch Bugs Bunny, the true Bugs Bunny, because it's too violent.
Yeah.
Yet all the anime has all those violent
and
things.
it's all like rated PG-13.
Well, that too. But my point is that when they took away all the violence from all, not just Bugs Bunny, all the other ones, just Tom and Jerry, all of them, they took them away, said you can't watch them anymore. That left a vacuum. And anime came in and just, not a vacuum always gets filled, and it did by anime, and it got popular. Now there's no way you can, at least the American liberals can stop it because it's all Japanese.
Yeah.
And with the internet, they can watch it all the time. I mean, I could be wrong, but I really think that's part of the reason, at least, why it's so popular, because it gives a need that the people want, the kids want.
Yeah. I just think it looks cool. Yeah.
I like to get a little deeper today.
No, I
but
know.
okay.
Just kidding.
Okay, since it's got to be a quiz, right? So here's the quiz time.
Let's go. Let's get our alchemy license, right?
That's right. But this is easy. Now, I took some of these questions from funtrivia.com. There were so many of them. I just basically went to first and towards the end. So there's a lot left out. But who is the leader of the state alchemists?
The state? You mean like the military?
Who is the leader of the state alchemists? That's all I'm giving
Yeah,
you.
the
Fuhrer
Fuhrer.
Bradley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure, absolutely. What injury does Havoc get?
Oh, he gets paralyzed, legs down.
Yeah. Wait, Havoc's the
He's the one that works with Roy, one of Roy's guys, and he gets bedridden. And he
Oh
breaks-
yeah. Okay, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yep, she's right. Here's that name again. In Rush Valley, what is stolen from Eric when he first enters?
His watch.
His pocket watch. You had it here.
I was gonna say.
Yes, very good. Looks like these are all easy. Who guards the portal?
The truth? Yeah.
Well, is it the truth or just truth?
I think it's truth. Yeah.
Okay. Which limbs did Ed lose when he when he tried to revive his mother?
He lost his leg for the mother. He lost the arm for Al.
Very good.
The
That's
right
it.
and the left. I think the right arm and the left.
And I was
Yeah.
just next question is how does Ed lose his arm?
Yeah.
So putting Al's soul into the suit of armor. See, you jumped ahead. Who is the original leader of the Chimeras?
Chimeras?
The
The
original leader.
yeah, the original leader of the Chimeras.
I was like, Tucker? Because he made him.
Yeah, but he didn't lead them.
Yeah.
Well, Greed leads some of them.
There you go.
Greed.
Greed
Yeah.
is the answer.
Yeah, because he gets the like the
Yeah.
team and stuff.
Mhm.
Like the
And they
people
all-
actually.
Bonus
end up
question.
dying.
What's the name of Greed's bar?
Oh, Devil's
Ooh.
Nest.
Yeah.
Very good.
I
see
know
it.
Greed.
I'm impressed.
All right, I got one. Or do you got more?
I got more, but go
All
ahead.
right. Who started the Ishbal Rebellion?
Envy.
There you go.
No.
That was kind of the.
That was evil. Envy
Yeah.
was evil.
That envy was very bad, but
Yes,
he
he
gets
was.
it. He gets it good.
Well, he turns. I guess it's just when he turns into that little worm. 'Cause
Yeah,
that's
but-
basically what he was.
Like Roy lights him up, literally. Like,
yeah, he does.
that part's really hard to watch, even though he deserves every snap. But it's just like that animation and just like him just exploding his eyes and just like just taking out all his frustration on him because he killed his friend and stuff like that. So
Oh, I agree. What are the two colors used in the flag of Amestris? How you pronounce
Amestris.
it? Amestris.
what colors are in the?
Come on, you showed me this at the con. There's no reason.
Blue? Not blue.
You
You
showed
mean
me
the
the
little
flag.
dog?
No, remember the flag we saw hanging up there? You said that's the flag from Full Metal.
Gray.
Green and white.
Green and white.
I think I'm thinking of their uniforms.
Yeah, their uniform was gray.
They're blue.
What is the law that states to attain something of equal value must be lost?
Equivalent exchange.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good. Who was considered the fastest homunculi?
The fastest.
I know.
Okay,
Pride.
give Ryan a chance.
Pride.
Sloth.
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 Oh yeah,
He even claimed
yeah.
it.
Yeah, exactly. Because he can't stop or something like that. Yeah.
Land fan, is that how you pronounce it?
Lanfan.
Yeah.
Lanfan. Well, it's spelt the way I said it, but
Yeah.
anyways, is able to get Wrath off her and Ling's trail by doing what?
She puts her arm on the dog.
Yeah, she cuts her arm off.
Cuts her arm off
Yeah.
and puts her
Yeah.
on a dog. Yep. Who sacrifices themselves to return Ed's arm to his body?
Al, yeah.
Yeah.
Bonus question. Was it altruistic? Now, altruistic means self-sacrifice.
Like Al, you think was it Al? Was it sacrificing?
It was Al being
Yeah.
self-sacrificial.
Yeah, because he was sacrificing his soul.
I don't know. I think he knew he was going to go back to the portal because he did meet it when they summoned all the sacrifices. He did meet the body. So I think he knew he was going to go back there, but he did sacrifice his metal body and not to be there.
The reason why I don't think it's altruistic, I don't think it's self-sacrifice, is to be that it's to sacrifice a greater value for a lesser one. He understands that his brother, which he did it for his brother, is the greater value. Even though you may consider it a sacrifice, it wasn't altruistic in the sense
okay.
that
I
he
kinda see
did
what you
not
mean now.
sacrifice a greater value. The greater value was his brother.
Yeah,
It's
No, I
that,
see what you
once
mean.
again, that's a philosophical dilemma.
because he knew he was gonna be able to, use his arm to, win the battle and stuff.
He
so,
hoped.
Yeah.
But still,
Put his money
he
on it,
saw
yeah.
his brother as a greater value, even greater than his own body, his soul.
Because he knew he was done. He
Yes,
was pretty
exactly.
much done.
And he knew that, at least from my perspective, he knew that was their best chance to win.
Yeah.
So I don't think that was it may have been a sacrifice, but not a self-sacrifice in the sense that it was altruistic. Ling talked to Greed and got him to admit that he didn't really want supreme power or the entire planet. What did Greed realize that he really wanted?
Friends.
Yeah, friends. You brought that up. Yeah.
No, you're absolutely right. What did Greed say he never did, but ended up doing right before he was absorbed by the father?
He never lied, but he lied to Ling to get him to let go. I know because when he died.
Well, once again, every one of Autumn's favorite characters end up dying. So we know that
That's a good character usually.
I'm
it's
totally
kind
expecting
of
Bakugo to go just because he's my favorite.
I think that my hero is more uplifting, more benevolent than they're a little dark on Fullmetal Alchemist. That's why.
That's why
probably
they
won't
make
happen.
like the milk jokes and stuff and the short jokes, because if they didn't, it'd be all depressing.
Yeah, there's a lot of like chibi stuff. It's like whenever he makes like a little Edward thing.
Well,
it's
the
always funny.
anime, I thought, or the animation, every time Ed would get pissed, and he would kind of freak out. It was that little different animation. I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, that's like super anime for sure.
Then the last one, and you guys should know this one. What is the secret ingredient in forming the Philosopher's Stone?
Human lives.
Yep. And I noticed how they ripped that Philosopher's Stone off of Harry Potter.
Similar, yeah.
That's similar. The first book was called Harry Potter and the
I
Philosopher's
think
Stone.
this is before.
Or did she rip it off from?
Probably.
Yeah, I think it was just kind of the same vein. So.
It could have been around the same time. I have no idea.
Yeah.
Guys, I mean, there's all my questions. You guys got anything else you
great.
want to say?
I could talk about this anime forever.
When I went to the Motor City Comic-Con a couple years ago, the voice actor for Ed was there.
That's cool.
Really? Did you get his autograph?
No, it was like $100. I was like,
Yeah.
no.
Oh, that's not
And
worth
I
that.
didn't.
Screw that.
At that time, I didn't. I watched a little Full Metal, but I didn't finish it. But I did see an Ed and Al there. Like, Al was huge. It was a whole metal
That's
armor,
cool.
and they were moving around
that
and
is
stuff.
cool.
Yeah, they were just hanging around.
$100 though. Neil Peart is my ultimate hero. I wouldn't pay $100. I wouldn't pay $25 for his autograph.
I don't like when they charge so much for something like that. It doesn't make sense.
In a way, I do see the reason because they think you're going to get this and then go sell
It's
it on
not
eBay.
equivalent exchange.
They're very good. Very good. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast on Fullmetal Alchemist. I want to plug Ryan's. I should have did this last week. If you want to get more on the anime and pop culture stuff, you should check out Ryan's podcast. Go ahead and give yourself a little plug.
Yeah, Ultimate Nerd Podcast is my show, and just talk about all things anime, video games, and media. And this has been great. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, thanks for being the expert anime dude.
The Full Metal Podcaster.
Yes, there you go. Thanks once again for listening to us. You can check out our podcast on Anchor FM. You can go to our website is chainsofreasonpodcast.com. You can go there. You can get our email. You can get all the places that we're on, including now iHeartRadio. This is the Chains of Reason podcast. How can anyone be enlightened when the truth is so poorly lit?